Speakers. Today we're reviewing the Flaming Lips, Oczy Mlody. I'm Kush.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Cam.
The Flaming Lips are a very heavily respected psychedelic rock band from Oklahoma in the United States. This is their 15th album, and I didn't really enjoy it that much. I don't know about you guys, but there was just a lot of like weird ambient electronic music. That's not their sound. That's not what they do, and I would say it didn't come out really well for them.
I'm with you, man. I really was disappointed by this one. Flaming Lips were maybe in 2013-14, maybe at one point for a month or so, my favourite band. And this, oh god, I just wish this was better. That's all I can say right now before I go into it.
Sorry.
You go ahead.
I am not the biggest fan of Flaming Lips, despite the fact that I have almost all of their main albums. For context, so far I enjoy almost everything from before the Soft Bulletin to that album and everything after.
Right.
And I haven't really taken a lot of time to understand their 2010s albums, but I don't dislike them, at least the ones I've heard. Like, I haven't heard like Hetty Fwens or their work on Miley Cyrus's album or anything like that.
That was a train wreck of an album.
It really wasn't good.
Yeah, so I have... Is Embryonic the last one before this?
No, they had The Terror in 2013.
Oh, I thought The Terror was before. Okay, so yeah, I have that album, but I haven't really absorbed it yet for however long I've had it, however long it's been out.
Yeah.
But this album, since I didn't really have any expectations, it wasn't a disappointment, but it also wasn't a surprise either. I just thought it was okay. Like Alex said, they're not really about making ambient music, but I actually thought that most of the songs were okay. Like, interesting enough, like, there's enough stuff going on that I feel like, the real great elements of the songs will reveal themselves in future listens, by which I mean that I think there actually are good elements of the songs that just don't stand out right away. And there are a few songs that actually did stand out to me that had good elements, aside from just, like, being catchy. Like, one of the singles, obviously, at least, is reasonably catchy, and at least catchier than the more ambient album tracks. But there is one that I really did like, and I'll get into that, I guess, in a bit.
Yeah, so for me...
I just want to say that I've heard basically everything the Flaming Lips have put out, right? Including their EPs, some of their very bad 2014 semi-albums, and I'd have to say that this contains some of their worst songs since their third album, which was 1989. So this is their 15th. This actually does have their 3 worst songs on a main Flaming Lips album since their third one. So we'll get into those definitely, but I just want to say that now. So yeah, I was very unhappy hearing those.
So to start off, I liked the intro track, the Oczy Melody or whatever, how the hell you say it. I liked it. It was instrumental, but it was unique and it was interesting. And I guess like I wasn't tired of the sound when I first started listening to it. But that song was like 2.5 minutes long, but it felt so long. That song felt way too long.
Yeah, but I agree.
I did enjoy it. It was okay. Then it goes on to How. How was decent. That's when like they started that EDM pop sound, which I didn't really catch on the first listen through. So second listen through, I got it, and it was better. Then came There Should Be Unicorns. God, that was a fucking terrible song.
Oh yeah, I hate that song. I hate it, and I can tell you why. It has some of the stupidest lyrics I've ever heard. Right, I'm gonna give you a dramatic reading of this. Yeah, there should be unicorns. The one with the purple eyes. It should be loud as fuck. Hope the swans don't die. There should be burning sun and naked slaves. And if the police show up, we'll give them some more money. It will make them cry and forgive us. What the actual... What are they trying to do with that? Like, I know lyrics, like songwriting, Wayne Coyne has never been called a great songwriter, but there is a point when I just can't take him seriously. And there's a stupid spoken word bit at the end I just can't stand either.
That was so pointless, and it was like it was like a super like deep voice, you know, like kind of like a Old Spice commercial.
I think it was actually Wayne just modulated down.
It sounded like an Old Spice commercial, and it was just so unnecessary and so pointless and just so stupid that I couldn't deal with it. But yeah, Cam, how was your opinions on that song specifically?
Honestly, that's kind of one of the ones that didn't really stand out to me one way or the other. It gets to a point where some songs are just like so... I don't know if dense is the right word, but it's just like... I don't know, just... it's kind of hard for me to pay attention to lyrics or even pick out anything specific about it. So, yeah, I didn't even know any of the lyrics and stuff.
Well, I didn't actually memorize those. I had it quoted, but when I heard that, I just knew I had to single it out as a very bad moment because the lyrics on this album are not good at all in most places.
This song specifically, There Should Be Unicorns is a really edgy metalcore band name, like I Wrestled the Bear once or stuff like that. It sounds like a really stupid band name, and that song specifically had a lot of problems with it. I just couldn't deal with it.
I think if they had a song title called I Should Be Unicorns, there was actually potential to make a very nice mystical, fantastical, fairy tale like fantasy world where Wayne wishes there was unicorns and that would help make world peace, but instead he makes it, I don't know, weird and urban and stuff. Like, if the police show up, we'll give them money, and I don't know. He could have made a song called There Should Be Unicorns good, but it wasn't here, obviously.
I don't know. I feel like if they tried to go whimsical, then it would have come out sounding like I'm going to butcher the French here. Racontez-moi une histoire or whatever. Tell Me the Story by M83. You guys know that song?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It's this really... Do you know M83 at all?
Oh, I've heard of them. I've just not listened to them much.
Okay, so this is from disc 1 of their double album, Hurry Up, We're Dreaming. Right. And it's just like this cute little electro-pop thing. And the music is alright. But the whole thing is just a spoken word by a little girl telling a story that just makes absolutely no sense. It's like something about frogs... And the only line I specifically remember was something like, and the world turns into a giant cupcake or something like that. And I feel like the Flaming Lips couldn't possibly pull off making a song called There Should Be Unicorns whimsical. So I think going for the drab and kind of unsettling sound that they gave it on the release album is kind of like the only way you really could do something that ridiculous, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well, they didn't even do it this way either, so they may as well have done a whimsical way. And on Embryonic, they had a song called I Can Be a Frog, which is Wayne just saying, I can be a frog, oh, I could be a bat. And it has this, I can't remember who, but she's a lead vocalist of an indie band, like making the sounds of the animals in the background, like ribbits and, I don't know, barks if he says I can be a dog. And that kind of works just because it's a silly little 2-minute thing. It's very whimsical, so they can maybe do whimsical right. But yeah, I think if anybody made a song called There Should Be Unicorns good, they should be applauded.
I mean, the Flaming Lips have always had this kind of reputation for making the whimsical, weird songs anyways. Like, what's that song? The one about jelly and Vaseline.
You don't use jelly.
God, I love that song, but the lyrics are absolutely absurd and they don't make any sense. And it's just a fun song to listen to. But this was weird and absurd in a completely wrong direction that just wasn't entertaining.
Yeah. Well, if you can't guess, this is one of those 3 songs that I think is one of their worst.
I had a feeling.
So I'm gonna go down the track list. 'Cause I feel like this is something we gotta talk about. So Sunrise was a good song, maybe because
it was a good song.
Maybe because it was comparison to the previous song, but it just I like that one more. Was it Niji Nai? Whatever.
Oh.
That song was okay. I didn't really hate it, like it. It just felt whatever to me. How about you guys?
Well, I don't like it. Yeah, I agree. I like Sunrise, Eyes of the Young. It's just a nice, beautiful ballad.
You want to know something funny, guys?
Oh.
That's a cover of one of the songs that was on that last Miley Cyrus album.
No way.
Yeah.
Is it?
They retitled it, but it's technically a cover. I don't know how much they changed of it, like lyrics-wise or anything. But, yeah.
Maybe they really are better sung by Wayne than Miley. Well, I didn't catch that. I didn't know that.
I didn't either, but I enjoyed that song.
Yeah, she had a feature on the closer of this album. You didn't know that.
I really don't want to talk about that.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Negatino, what the hell? It's a weird, mostly... No, it's Ngidie, so it has to be Nigadai. Anyway,
whatever it was.
My main thought for this is the second word in the title, no. The weirdly mostly instrumental showcase that forgoes everything I like about the band. Now, I don't expect them to always do stuff I like. I'm not entitled, but I can't be expected to like this because it's just... It doesn't sound like a fully fleshed out song. It sounds like, I don't know, it has some vocal parts, and then it has a bass part, and then a keyboard part. I know they're more electronic now, and they need beats because their drummer Cliff Scarlett left the band in 2014, so we don't even have conventional drumming anymore. But yeah, this just... I just don't like this song at all. I really don't.
From there was a Galaxy I Sing, which I didn't like that one at all. The lyrics were fine. They were just generic lyrics. But when it started off, and there's just so many things going on left and right, and like I had the headphones over my ears, I just couldn't tell what was happening, and I was thinking like, what is going on with this song? And I didn't enjoy that.
I hate this part of the album.
There's that one part when the guitar kicks in, it sounds almost like a Western movie, and I was like, this is just weird and odd. I don't know if you caught it, but may definitely give it a shot. I could see at least that portion of the song in a Western movie, and it was just so weird.
I do not like this song. This is the worst song the Flaming Lips have made since 1989, in my opinion. It's worse than... Okay, I'm going to go on a bit of a rant here. On The Terror, they have a great song called Try to Explain. Now, The Terror is a depressing, ambient-driven album, so if I like that album, which I really do, I should really like this one, right? Well, they sustain a whole mood on that album, a really depressing, useless, like, it's useless to try and escape it mood on that album that I really love. And, this just sounds like a bad outtake from that album to me. There's a vocal melody on Galaxy I Think that sounds exactly like Try to Explain. They just rip it off. And Try to Explain is a great pop melody underneath a dark exterior. Galaxy I Think is a poor man's version of that. You can see it'll take me a few more listens, but I just think this is really poor compositionally and has a really mixed atmosphere, unlike the uniformly delicious atmosphere of The Terror. Oh god, it's so boring, it's so drab. Where's the energy? Where's anything? I just hate this.
Cam, any thoughts on that song?
Not really. This is like just the kind of album I can tell that it's just gonna take me a while to let it sink in and everything. But for the most part, I did like almost everything, but I will agree that most of these songs could have or should have been a lot shorter, because they just like make their. I feel like this about a lot of albums. It's just like they make their point, but then they just keep on going, and they didn't need to. So that's like the worst I can say about almost everything on here. But I also, since like I can't really get into any Flaming Lips albums to the point of really loving them, that I don't really have any expectations or demands or anything for what their next album should sound like or how they should sound just as a band. So I don't really have anything to say about whether or not they can pull off ambient or whether or not they should or anything. And maybe if I like get into their previous albums, then I'll like understand what you guys hate so much about this one. But at the same time, I might get into all of them and get into this one and actually wind up liking it more. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I just really don't like what they've done with this song, and maybe I just, since they are one of my favorite bands, I really like some parts of this album, but this whole section of
yeah, for sure.
Should Be Unicorns, Miley Cyrus cover, which I actually like, but it sounds bad when I say that. I actually do like that song. It's my favorite. And then Nigatino and Galaxy I Think. That is like the worst part of the album to me. So thankfully we're past it. But man,
yeah,
I hate that part.
So now going on, there was a one night while hunting for fairies and witches and wizards to kill. That was an unnecessary title. Decent storytelling, but the vocals didn't really match the instrumentation. Like the instrumentation was really like low key and I guess like a darker vibe, and the vocals were just they were just off kilter and didn't really flow well with the actual instruments. And it does pick up to a point where it just sounds like experimental electronic music, and I'm not really sure what they wanted from that, but that was an okay track. I wouldn't listen to it again for sure, but
they have some songs like that, embryonic, like progressive electronic kinda, like Worm Mountain, and they're okay, and this is okay too. I really like it. It's nothing groundbreaking, but it's nice to hear another fantastical progressive pop song from them, even though the story's like nothing that engaging. It's a bit of fun, it's a solid bass reverb groove at some points, good atmosphere, good lyrics. I like this one.
Yeah, that one was actually my favorite on the album. Mostly for one thing, I'm a sucker for like a few specific instruments and sounds, and good Latin rhythm on some claves is just one of those random things that I'm just a sucker for. And this one definitely had like the strongest groove and like the most distinct elements of a quote-unquote song of anything else on the album, aside from like The Castle, which is like was that the first single or the second from this?
Yeah, that was the first single.
Yeah, so I mean obviously they want to put their best foot forward with the poppiest song on the album, and that was my favorite. But this one is just because it's interesting and it's different and it stands out from the rest, if nothing else because of a distinct foreign instrument and using it to its usual effect, which I mean isn't anything innovative like you said, but it just helps that one song stand out.
I just think it's good just because it's a good coherent song compared to the songs before, which just sound unfinished and just they haven't worked them out. But that song was fine with me.
Yeah, so moving on from there, Do Glowy was just another forgettable song that I didn't really enjoy. And at that point, I kind of felt like I liked this album more in concept than in actual execution. Which, even in concept, it wasn't that good. But the Do Glowy was just way too poppy for me and way too generic pop. I could hear the Miley Cyrus influences on that song, and I couldn't vibe with it.
I didn't mind it. It's I think it segued well from One Night. Like One Night didn't have a proper stop. It like turned into a sort of slow electronic ambient thing, and it moved on to this. So I like that, and it's a fine throwaway. Like It's a meaningless filler track, which is still quite catchy. Although some of the vocal processed sound effects on here are just a bit too silly. Like at the end, it just got a bit too much. Like there's no lyrics, there's not much lyrics on here until the end, so can't complain about the lyrics. It's just like the same thing for a wee while. But I did not mind this. It was passable.
So now comes to these. The next 3 songs are probably my favorite on the actual record. Listening to the Frogs Demonize, The Castle, and Almost Home. I thought those songs were all very, well, not Almost Home, but the other 2 were very reminiscent of the old Flaming Lips, and just I really enjoyed what they did with these songs.
I'm not gonna lie, I liked some parts of listening to the Frogs of Demon Eyes, but I did not like it that much, so I'll tell you why after you say why you liked it.
So I liked it because they finally brought the guitars back, which were really missing throughout the previous songs, or at least not as strong as they should have been. And I like the echoed vocals in the back, and that's been a recurring thing throughout the album, which I enjoyed. But
another reoccurring thing on the album, which I think we need to mention now because it's actually a really bad aspect, is there's a really bad mixing on some of these songs. Like there's a gated reverb or like a glitch, elongated glitch thing that appears in some songs. Like I think it appears on a How, which made it like just an okay song for me. I didn't like it that much. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but it appears like on 5 songs, this like 10-second glitch thing that comes back and forward sometimes, and it's at its worst on this song for me.
I didn't really notice it. Maybe I'll go back.
No, I don't know what it is. I really don't. But it's like they used it in place of a conventional rhythm, and because they don't have proper drums on a lot of these songs because their drummer left. And there is some good stuff on here. I like the acoustic guitar, the orchestrations, and I can't complain with Wayne's vocals because I still think he sounds really good vocally. But there's always the bad mixing of the reverb, and towards the end of this song, it actually hurt my ears. So even though I thought the song had good aspects, I think it was mixed really badly for my tastes. And it's weird because. Yeah. It's weird because some parts of this album has great production, but on this song I don't know what happened. It's a shame because the 7-minute Flaming Lips song would have really excited me at one point, but if they sound like this, I'm not going to be excited by that.
Oh yeah, but The Castle was my favorite song on the whole record.
Well, what did you think of that song, Cam?
I don't know, just more of the same. I didn't catch the part that you're talking about. Like, if you're saying it was on Listening to the Frogs, right?
It wasn't on that. It was on it was on that. It was also on How, and I wrote it down for the other songs it's on. It's on Niggity No. It's on I think it's on There Should Be Unit as well.
Do you have like a timestamp or anything? Maybe.
I can show you them later, but yeah, I don't get it. It might be something that I'm not used to, like it's a normal instrument or a normal production tool, but it really hurt my ears at some point, so I don't know what it was.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, just another one I don't really have strong feelings about, but like Kush said, I appreciate that they brought, guitars and bass back in. I really like songs with a strong, or like any kind of noticeable rhythm thing, so bass is obviously high on my list, and I just liked, having this one that kind of thumped along nicely.
Yeah.
So...
Well, it's the bass that sounded bad at some points to me.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, it was pretty okay throughout the entire album. I felt it was okay. It was better on that song, but at some points it was just very repetitive and very boring bass line.
Yeah. Reverb is too much for it sometimes. That's I don't know.
Yeah, so then came Castle and Almost Home. So Castle is my favorite song. I think most people enjoy that song just because it's the first single and probably most reminiscent of Old Flaming Lips.
The first, I thought, yeah, it's the first, sorry.
Yeah. And then Almost Home had some really cool electronic beats going on with it, but there wasn't much substance to that song, so was fine to listen to, but I don't think I'll really be coming back to that song at all.
Yeah, Almost Home was it did nothing for me. Like, it did nothing bad, but it did nothing good. It was just a good vocal melody with less focus on lyrics, so I just see that as filler to me. But yeah, The Castle's good. It's just nice to hear a normal song from them. You know, it's just a slow-paced pop song, but it's quite a slow burner and quite catchy, so
Yeah,
I'm all for it. Great keyboard sound. It's just good to hear a just soft pop song from them, so good choice for his first single.
Yep, it's taking pretty
I
much
dig it.
everything.
Then there's the last song, We A Fam Lie.
Okay, so here's my thing with that album. So I was going in, and I knew there was a Miley Cyrus feature on there, and I'm at We A Family, and on Spotify she's not credited as a featuring artist, so I didn't know when she was going to be there, and I didn't do much research beforehand. And at this point, I'm like, oh, maybe I missed it. Maybe she wasn't as obnoxious as I thought she'd be in the song, so maybe I just passed over it and didn't really think much about it. Then the song came out, and it started off fine, just whatever. It was another decent song in this album. Then I hear this in the background, I hear this, yeah, and then I'm like, fuck, it's Miley Cyrus. She's in this one. And her verse was so bad. I couldn't make out maybe I couldn't even make out 5 or 6 words that she was saying. I didn't know what she was doing. How about you guys?
It's a good closer. Like kind of seems like it brings most of the elements of the album together, but still nothing memorable or really that impressive.
How about you, Alex? I feel like he's gone again.
Oh, jeez, Alex. We miss you.
I feel like he'd have a lot to say about this song.
Probably. Maybe he blew out his microphone or something.
That's fine. I think we can call it a thing there. You have a review or a rating?
I'm gonna give it a temporary 6. Nothing on this album offended me quite as much as it apparently did Alex. But nothing impressed me either. So I'm gonna give it more chances, and if nothing really sticks out to me on the next 2 or 3 spins, then I'll probably just give up on it and settle on a 6. But I could imagine it going 7, maybe as high as an 8 if I really like some of these.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 4.5 to a 5. I really like the Flaming Lips. I do. I wanted to give him a chance, and I got this, and I'm like, I can't deal with this. So, yep, I get a 5, a good old 5 for me.
Yep. And the one thing that like I said before, I will agree with, pretty much every song should have been shorter.
Yeah, I agree. I can agree with that. And there's a lot of very generic pop beats in it, so I just didn't get that at all. Okay, well, thanks for tuning in to Busted Speakers. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Let us know how you feel about this album in the comments below, and check us on social media for all the latest news and updates about our channel.